Thank you so much for joining us. It is WrestleMania weekend, baby. It is April 18th, and we've got your Smackdown post show ready to go. Sean is blurry, but he is here. He's going to come back into focus in a second. And while he's coming back into focus, come back into focus with us as we talk some Smackdown, talk some WrestleMania. We've got super chats. We've got humper chats. We've got a lot to discuss. This has been quite a week on the road to WrestleMania here. A lot happened at Bloodsport yesterday. A lot of waves made in the press. There's tons to talk about. We got the man in the house. We got Alexis Cardoza and we've got Sean Ross Sapp here to talk all about what's already on Fightful Select, some teasers of what you can expect on Fightful Select, bonus Q&A shows, bonus podcasts. We got it all for you back there, but I'm not going to hard sell it anymore because we've got the guy that runs the place, all right? Our AJ Styles, all right? This is the house that Sean Ross Sapp built. Sean, how you doing?
I'm doing good, especially with that $5/99 a month, Kate.
Listen, I made a lot of graphics for us today. They're not all going to be winners.
Listen,
I had 98% hit rate today. I'll take it.
I had typos on 2 of them. I just glad it's not on one of the viral ones that we do. But FightfulSelect.com, that's what's bringing me here to you guys. And I told him beforehand, I'm going to just drop some loads of scoops all over you guys. $5.99 a month. I am going to be live. I think I'm aiming for 1 p.m. Eastern, both Saturday and Sunday, doing those. Little extra for Fightful Select subscribers because, listen, I know you guys are going to have a lot of questions. Right now, everybody's asking me about Rey Mysterio. I, in fact, do not have details on his x-rays and MRIs 30 minutes after a possible injury. I am definitely asking about it, though, but leave a thumbs up, subscribe, get in those super chats, humper chats if you want me to answer anything while I'm here. But I'm going to drop a bunch of scoops. Now, all of these came from FightfulSelect.com. All of these are ones that we reported on the most basic $5.99 tier. That gets you all the news that you want. It gets you additional post shows. Somebody says NXT is on at 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, by the way. Well, in that case, I am going to do it at noon tomorrow. Or 12:30.
Are you going head to head with Stand and Deliver? Dang.
No, I'll do it before NXT then. So noon it is, noon Eastern or 12:30 Eastern, one of those, somewhere in there. So Cody's line on Sting tonight was a very, very deep cut podcast reference for Eric Bischoff saying that Sting was not tan enough at Starrcade 97. The Fightful Select Scoops thread was loaded. We already got your writers and producers and all that stuff up on our Scoops thread tonight. We had also mentioned that Chelsea and Zelina changed this week, specifically around Wednesday or Thursday. They decided to do this match. Fightful Select had reported on Monday that as of then and as of last week, Chelsea Green was not planned for WrestleMania. There had been a lot of pitches from creative, I believe from her herself, about doing an open challenge. Maybe Nikki Bella, Alexa Bliss hosting, I think would have been a good one as well. As of earlier this week, none of those were in order. What I expect to happen is her to be worked onto the show somehow, then Triple H to come out and do his smarmy thing where he says, don't listen to what you hear on the internet, I thought, dirt sheet, blah, blah, blah. Either way, somebody else that is running around WrestleMania week, Gabe Sapolsky. WWE is heavily scouting the indies. They've got talent looking around at spring break right now. There were so many wrestlers at Bloodsport beyond who you guys saw. Tyler Bate, Scarlett, Shotzi, Candice LeRae, Roxanne, Tyson Kidd, Nia, Raquel, Liv, Braun Strowman, Bayley, Gunther, Lexis King, all at the show. Also, Willow Nightingale. But Natty, we had reported that her appearance made some waves in WWE, especially how she responded afterwards with her tweet. Like she was feeling herself last night, as she should. There was a fantastic performance. Had a theme song with a very intentional message, the Rage Against the Machine theme song. But afterwards, a lot of people were asking about the altercation afterwards. It's to set up the Crockett Cup appearance next month. She is likely facing Kenzie Page. If they were trying to make it a shoot, every NWA on-screen broadcaster quote tweeting my video of it certainly highlighted that it was going the other way. But listen, Natty impressed an awful lot of people there. And there were multiple people in WWE that said this is what they should have had her do the whole time, is be this. Now, you probably noticed this week, WWE is everywhere. And I mean, everywhere, more so than many WrestleMania weeks. Now, there's a lot of people that say, oh, WWE is trying to push the indies out, blah, blah, blah. Listen, all due respect to the indies, of which I have worked a number of, this WWE is the reason for the season there. Like, they're the reason that the indies are going there. WWE isn't going to Las Vegas because GCW is running the show. So I don't have a problem with them integrating into everything, but they made a concentrated effort, as we highlighted on FightfulSelect.com. They're doing their own Wale Mania type of thing with After Dark, but they're also sending talent to Wale Mania, like Omos, who we reported earlier this week, healthy, good to go, doesn't necessarily match up with that benched phrase that Nick Khan used earlier this week. But neither here nor there. They worked they set up the GCW ID tournament so they could have a hand in the GCW stuff. They were all over Bloodsport. They made Hall of Fame its own separate thing. They added the roast. I was told this was a very important week for WWE, obviously, but so they can see what works and what doesn't work. That way they can kind of refine this, and maybe they'll do some of this stuff at a SummerSlam or a Royal Rumble weekend, because they're going to try to make weeks out of these big events now, because that's going to be a major point of attraction to get these cities to bid for them. And what they're probably going to try to do, if I were to guess, is that they're going to try to sell a lot of the rights while they are white hot, while they are on top of the world right now. And that's probably what they're doing. So another thing we had reported, I think it's been known for a while. I think in January, we put out there, Living Color is going to be in Las Vegas during WrestleMania week. That was already a plan. Today, FightfulSelect.com had reported that Slayer was also considered, specifically for something maybe with Damian Priest. That would be very cool. It would make a lot of sense. Living Color would be night 1. Slayer would be night 2. Kind of cool. But we also had some cool stuff on Fightful Select. People were asking, like, what I thought about the Peacock deal, as it's within a year of it expiring. This weekend is going to be a very important piece of WWE's future, because WWE wisely had their Peacock deal end before next year's WrestleMania. So they are going to look at this year's numbers. They'll be able to use that to negotiate with. They'll be able to sort of take it and say, well, this is what WrestleMania is worth, and maybe they'll shop it separately. Maybe they'll do it individually. I don't see them jumping back into the $60, $70 pay-per-view, say $60, $70 pay-per-view game, but I am interested in their PR approach moving forward, because this week was very intentional. Regardless of how you guys feel politically, I think you can tell that this was a much different week. You had Dana White on Stephanie McMahon's podcast talking about being canceled and all that. Triple H's fan comments, Roman Reigns being very transparent about being a Trump supporter. You had Cena saying that he loves Vince. You had Triple H making Trump comments last week. Nick Khan, the AEW stuff as well. Quite frankly, there's been more AEW mentions over the last month than there had been the last couple of years. So I'm interested to see if this approach continues. But also in that same vein, like, CM Punk was out there saying the direct opposite of a lot of that. Roman Reigns said the direct opposite of what John Cena said about Vince McMahon. So I'm interested to hear some more about this approach. I haven't heard that much about it, because obviously WWE PR has been a little bit busy with WrestleMania week and probably this stuff as well. Very, very interesting stuff. But Joe Hendry also spoke with Joel Pearl. If you guys haven't, check out the Joe Hendry, Lyra Valkyria, Dakota Kai, Carlito interviews. Joe Hendry mentioned he's been trying to get on the Sphere. But that wasn't all. FightfulSelect.com. We had updates on an AEW departure. We had updates on Jeff Cobb, Hook, Hobbs, Naito. The people I was talking to, I'll be transparent with you guys. They're like, man, don't think AEW wants Naito. and don't think WWE would pass him on a physical. So a lot of people I was talking to in New Japan thought, well, maybe he'll come back here occasionally, but there's a lot of people there that think he's going to Noah or something like that, which is quite interesting. But I'll open it up to questions, and I'll tell you guys, if anything you cared about in the last 10 minutes that I just babbled about, like.com has that and more. Oh, the Trump thing. A lot of people I saw really digging into the Pat McAfee comment, but I think you really got to read into what he said there. If Trump were at WrestleMania, which I had mentioned on Denise's show as like something I believe they do, I think we would probably know based on security planning and stuff like that for one, because it would require a pretty heavy plan for WWE. I think that probably would have made its way out. Not saying it won't happen. I guess anything can happen, but nobody I've talked to has been told he's going to be there. Now, Pat McAfee talked about the Ulafala, which what a piece of promotion for WWE. No other way you can look at it. Like they're able to use that. But he said that thing is on a private plane on its way back. He didn't say Donald Trump was. He was implying that was Roman Reigns' Ulafala and that they were flying it back here to Las Vegas. But my God, let's get to some questions.
Let's do so. We got some super chats and humper chats that have come in. Thank you so much for your support. We're gonna keep Sean here for a little bit longer, but Van Twinblade chiming in via humper chat saying, "Did anything top Suzuki versus Yoshihiko? If not, to quote Hot Mulligan, well then why would I watch?" Really, real talk. Could not give less of an S about Charlotte, and the fact that they did that to Chelsea is a crime. I'm watching Spring Break now. So Chelsea was a part of your report and a hot topic. I think just kind of in general, I'm interested to see if she ends up on the card hosting or something along those lines as well. But definitely was something that people were asking a lot about this week.
Oh, I think that if for nothing else, they'll do it just to say that the dirt sheets suck.
I think that's extremely possible.
Yeah.
Hope Rey isn't hurt too bad. Crap timing. Seth did the impossible tonight. Made me actually care about the triple threat. TLC not good enough for Mania, I guess. Last but not least, Naomi is a star. So the Rey injury is certainly something that didn't look great. I know we kind of talked beforehand that you just don't have enough information yet to kind of give an update, but that is certainly something that people are chatting about in our chat and have super chatted about. But for those who didn't see, Rey was assisted and limping out up the ramp tonight, unfortunately. But any thoughts on that? That's a bummer that would derail this weekend, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it would derail a little bit. I mean, they've got Rey Fenix right there, and I know people will be like, "Oh, well, you can just replace him with another luchador," and I'm like, for this storyline, yeah. I mean, that's literally the point, is that he is brawling. I mean, watch the Battle Royal today, which, listen, I did think that was hilarious that they included Chad Gable among the people who didn't have a WrestleMania match. That was legitimately hilarious to me. But yeah, I mean, I would imagine that if that were the case, then Dragon Lee or Rey Fenix would probably slide into that spot.
That would.
And somebody says WWE did not give Trump an Ulafala. It was a delegation from American Samoa because he signed an executive order about fishing. Oh, you best believe that WWE knew about that happening. I'm not saying that they gave him one. That's why I said it was a wonderful bit of promotion for them. Regardless, it is just the best possible timing for WWE to have something like that happen for the promotion of this show.
Agreed. Rob Dog saying, any big surprises no one is expecting for Mania? Well, you had already talked about the fact that Slayer is in town. I think that kind of constitutes there. But anything else you want to tease? We paywall that good stuff. But anything else?
So another thing that we had put on the paywall, Rusev wasn't going to be Orton's opponent as of the day that Kevin Owens was hurt. So if that's come along since then maybe that's the case. Rusev is in town. He is in Las Vegas. I think PW Insider reported that. it's that they're clearly not moving on Aleister Black being the opponent because they got the promo tonight for that. So those surprises are expected. Becky Lynch has been under contract for a number of months. I think it's time to get her involved. I mean, she'll be on whatever show Seth's on, but I would expect that sooner than later.
Sure. Will Netflix Mania stream be different than Peacock? So this was one where the graphic that went up confused a lot of people because Netflix promoted it, but a lot of people United States side didn't connect that was an international graphic. But I think I'll let you take that one on the differences between Netflix and Peacock there.
I'm not sure. I'm sure that some of the I don't know what the phrase is where they weave those promotional elements into it but I'm sure some of those will be different, but I haven't heard of any significant adjustments about the broadcasting. I mean, it could be a situation where that's how they get like a Chelsea Green on the show via the things that you see on Netflix that you don't usually see on the American broadcast. But I've been working to find that out. They just haven't given me a solid answer on it yet.
Sure. Thoughts on the WrestleMania set?
I love the set. I mean, I'm not a big set guy or anything like that, but seeing this does make me be like, man, I do miss when they had really cool sets. But I also like the minimalist sets as well, because at this stage, the only thing there are two things that the Titantron is good for: putting somebody's name up there because nobody knows their theme songs, and showing people's face during interviews, because they don't show the matches on those anymore. Everybody's got the hanging video thing now for that. So, yeah.
Cardozo, what did you think of this set? We're keeping you quiet down there as we're moving along, but
so good. It looked fine to me. Fine and dandy. Big lights. Yeah.
I just a preference thing. I think it looks really cool. Like, it certainly looks sleek in design. I'm not a fan of the screen heavy stuff anymore. I think it looks really cool live because it'll light things up, but I like those impractical, extremely clunky ones. Those are my preferences. But guys,
there was the Armageddon one where it was just a structure of pipes. Like it looked like an unfinished set, and I kind of liked it.
It was pretty rad. Keep those super chats and humper chats coming, you guys. Just a couple of people that know who they're talking to. Okay, there's Van Twinblade, who says, first, poor Rey. Second, it's 10:07 Central. Zack Sabre Jr. is in the ring with the one called Manders for the WXW Unified title, TMDK all effing day. See, and C. Delgado also saying the same, ZSJ versus Manders. I had a blast watching him on Bloodsport versus Gresham yesterday. That was
good.
fun match. But me, Norm is saying nearly 4 years meaty. Thank you so much for the support. Saying the gross PR this week is turning me off from watching Mania. I have Nord and a fridge full of meat. Let's crank. Well, first of all, thank you for always setting up those ad reads. Second of all, you told us several times about your discount brisket this week. So very happy on that.
Yeah, he told me as well. Like, I was very, very happy and a little bit jealous of him.
Hell yeah, but understandable. There were a lot of people that had that reaction that I saw earlier. But Orion Ben saying, SRS, give me the Hall of Famer you wanted to see in this year. That's a good question.
I'm so glad the natural disasters got in. People know that I'm an earthquake guy. I think this is a perfect pro wrestler. A big fat dude who can actually fight and is bald up top. That's a wrestler to me.
In his 20s.
Yes. in his 20s.
Sean is alarmingly pro skullet. I will say that.
Oh, I love it.
You're big into
the
skullet.
Listen, Vince Russo accuses me of having a toupee, and I'm like, buddy, if I needed a toupee, I would just rock the skullet. Like, there ain't no way I'm gonna lose this hair and then try to get it back. I'm going out like John Tenta, the man. That's how I'm going out. But honestly, okay, so honestly, I like the way they did the Hall of Fame this year. Like, I like that they added a match to it because they're not going to run out of headliners for a while. What they're probably going to run out of is people underneath that seem like they should be in. But if like we want to talk about a person maybe that should have been in, I think Demolition should have been in. But I understand them putting natural disasters in because one, John Tent is gone, and Fred Ottman had some health troubles this year. So I want them to be in. Doesn't look like Axe and Smash are going anywhere anytime soon. Hopefully not. And I would like to see them in next year. But Demolition, got to have them in.
Agreed. Bad Robot with the generous chat saying, hello, favorite post show and SRS. See that? You're not the reason it's the favorite post show.
Yeah, right.
You're supplementary. I'm just saying. This week's press bummed me out, so I'm gonna keep being positive about Chelsea and Bailey playing D&D. Please ask Chelsea if she'll play again. She's so funny and a natural. A Fightful award winner 3 times, but most recently for funniest wrestler, tied with Harley Cameron. A
3-time winner with 3 different like topics. She won Indie Performer of the Year 1 year, Women's Indies Performer of the Year, Women's Tag Team of the Year, and Funniest Wrestler of the Year. So I mean, that's pretty wild that she was able to do that across WWE and the Indies as well.
Yes, it is. Well, I like this because Anthony Velasquez says, not a huge deal, but really hate it when someone who isn't part of a battle royal can legally eliminate a wrestler who is part of the match. I like this because you are a battle royal savant at this point, Sean, being in them, watching them. What are your thoughts on the illegal people?
A year ago this week,
eliminating.
Ya boy went coast to coast, 35 minutes in a Rumble. Eliminated, like, I think 5 or 6 people, including a man with a stalk of bananas. Cracked him over the head and screamed, "Potassium sucks." They were not frozen either. They're completely legal, legit bananas. I hate it when people not in a battle royal or a Rumble can eliminate people. I think it's lame. In 1996, when Vader came back in and tossed a bunch of people over the top rope, they didn't count it. Why'd they start counting it? Because they're lazy. That's why.
I hate it when people interview people in the middle of a battle royal, but to each their own, I guess. Now we've got kind of competing chats with this. Fid McAwesome saying, happy wrestling Christmas, my friends. Fid did some great work for us. But Matthew Hook saying, yes, Mania being the weakest show this weekend is wild. And Tom LaValle saying NXT is going to be better than WrestleMania like Mighty Ducks 3. So I will just throw my 2 cents in real quick. I agree that I'm more excited for Stand and Deliver than both nights of Mania, probably from the whole card perspective. I also agree that the Mania build has been weak, but I also know that tomorrow when WrestleMania starts, I'll feel like a little kid, like very excited about it. So I agree with all 3 of those, chat. Sean, where do you sit on kind of what we're looking at with this Mania build overall?
I think largely the build has been uninspired and not great. And, but I think that this card is constructed to where it's going to deliver in the ring exceptionally well. Like there's a lot of stuff that I think is going to be really, really good.
I agree. Well, we got another chat from Anthony Velasquez. Very generous. Thank you so much. Saying, SRS seen Fightful report about Alexa Bliss, who was pitched to face Chelsea Green at Mania. Wish it would have happened. Miss opportunity. Now, it was funny that Nikki Bella and Alexa Bliss were the names that were proposed as possible open challenge opponents because they were 2 of the biggest pops at Royal Rumble. It was kind of them and Joe Hendry that got the biggest pops. Then Braun Breaker spearing people out of their boots on multiple occasions. Roman and I Show Speed, I thought was something else. But the Wyatt 6 being sidelined because one member is injured is weird to me. I made those "we don't bench people" comments a little bit more vivid, I'll say. And also Alexa Bliss, who we saw in Elimination Chamber and haven't seen since. Any thoughts on that talent usage? Anything that you've heard?
Yeah, there's a lot that I've heard. So, I mean, again, of course, Dave and Mike had reported everything accurately leading up to Alexa returning. I just want to make that clear. Like, I think it's our audience knows if I got to debunk something that anybody's reporting, I'm happy to do that. Everything they reported about Alexa was accurate leading up to that. She signed the contract the morning of the Rumble, and then within a few weeks, she was off TV. Bo Dallas was not cleared for a while. I don't know what he was sidelined with, but he is cleared now. And I was told that back then when I had reported it, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago, that it's more likely that they will be returning at or after WrestleMania. And I just say at or after because the person told me around WrestleMania. I'm not saying they're coming back at Mania. So it would make sense, especially for the variety show element of this. But like, it's not a thing that I expect at Mania, but they're an act that I do think will be back soon. I was told that Alexa's contract thing didn't hold up the Wyatt story. It was just the injury that did. Now, why they took all of them off, well, I just have to look into the creative that was or wasn't supposed to happen. But I'm bummed about that. But I mean, listen, they just signed Alexa, and she's getting paid a lot of money to hang out with her kid right now.
Never against people getting paid, man.
And her pop star husband. So there you go.
There you go. Vic saying so many women pitched for Chelsea except the woman she's actually feuding with that has now beaten her twice. I just want to say kudos to Chelsea Green for just the most lemons to lemonade wrestler maybe in the world. Yeah. There was that snafu with last week's match. She wrote a legal letter that was penned by Luca Crucifino, who is a kayfabe wrestler on NXT, if you don't know. She posted it online. She tagged Fightful. She tagged Busted Open. She tagged LJ. She was out there just taking every centimeter that's given to her and making it entertaining. She's so impressive with that. But the Zelina stuff is certainly been kind of a weird road bump on the road here if they weren't going to do anything at Mania with this, because she lost to Piper and then has beaten Chelsea, but the title's not going to be on the card. So very odd on that.
Yep, I agree. It's weird to not have one of your biggest personalities featured as a personality on the show. And I'll tell you what I would have liked even more than Zelina beating Chelsea twice. Her beating literally anybody else to get into that position, because she lost to Piper. How about having people within the context of the show earn U.S. title shots by beating other wrestlers, and then the champion then defends that title one of the many times.
No way.
Against somebody else. Yeah.
She has 2 stablemates that are her security harvest. She could beat them. She could beat them. But Kim Gray saying, Mania may not be great, but the family time with my guys is much needed. This is why I love wrestling so much. That's the thing is, it's still WrestleMania. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good, bad, ugly. It's still WrestleMania. So looking forward to that. And Kylie, the Gamer Princess saying, hi, you cuties. I hope y'all are doing well. And also giving us a plug. Fightful Select is the best money anyone can spend in wrestling. Thank you so much for the kind words.
I agree.
Any thoughts on what someone might wager, Sean? Any thoughts there?
Is this a BetOnline plug?
It is a BetOnline plug.
You have to go to FightfulSelect.com to get my betting tips.
Oh, okay. FightfulSelect.com. It's a BetOnline plug and a Fightful Select plug. We do have our sponsor in BetOnline. They are great to us, but those underdog lock picks, FightfulSelect.com has you covered. We are like, OMG, so good at that. We are 100% target rate, I think. So some really, really, really great stuff there. Very excited to talk some BetOnline. In fact, Sean was just here, but then he left. I thought he was going to do a live read for us, but instead, I'm going to throw it to recorded Sean. And then we're going to let Alex Cardoza speak at some point in the show. How about that?
I want to talk to you guys about our great partner at BetOnline AG. Yes, the place that lets you bet on pro wrestling. We've gotten our pro wrestling betting odds from them for years, well before we even worked with them. And we're going to tell you a little bit more about them. They got the earliest lines, the fastest payout, the industry best bonuses. They've been trusted for 25 plus years because of their safe and secure environment and their quick payouts. But you can bet on pro wrestling. How cool is that? If you think you know more than anybody, go ahead and look at those odds. It's the same ones you've seen on Fightful for years. You might see one that sticks out to you and you go, wait a second, there's no way that person's going to win. Why are they an underdog? Make yourself some money. BetOnline AG, and hey, it doesn't stop there. Whatever sports you want, they got you covered. Popular games like blackjack and roulette, Supernova, Skyward, all that stuff. BetOnline AG. Please bet responsibly and only bet what you can at BetOnline AG.
BetOnline AG. It's not even just sports over there. They have you can bet on who you think is going to be the next pope. They got all sorts of stuff going on there. All sorts of stuff going on there. We got me Norma saying, "Hola, Senor Clavs and Auburn Bangs. How was SmackDown? It was a go-home show. It was a go-home show." Rob Dog, I'm so sorry if this was for Sean, but any chance we get to see SCSA in a major role at Mania? What's SCSA?
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh my gosh.
How
See, this
dare
is what
you?
happened.
I'm ending the show. Goodbye.
I wasn't an attitude era gal. That's actually a good question. Oh, Alex is gone. It's just me because I didn't know the initialism for Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know what? On the next ad break, I'll text Sean and see if he has an answer on that. But if he is around, FightfulSelect.com will have that information for you. Man. See, okay. And here's the thing. I wasn't watching during the Attitude Era. So I didn't know if that was like a cool t-shirt he had at one point that I missed or whatever. But
his name was abbreviated a lot because he used to wear his vests and he couldn't, for a time he couldn't fit the whole thing. So you would see it abbreviated. Then you would just see the Austin in the back with the flaming skull.
That I remember. That's like,
yeah. So there's there was a couple times they abbreviated it, and so it's okay. Not everyone gets it. I understand. Not everyone watched wrestling that far back. I'm an old man, so I've been watching wrestling for a long time.
I started late. I started in the Ruthless Aggression era.
That's not bad though. You came in right on time when.
I came in when everybody was like, "It sucks," actually, and I was
I let you say it. I felt bad. I was just like, nah, let's be positive.
That's what everyone said, and I was like, "Nah, I think this rules." Actually, I'm gonna keep watching. But Ryan Shikini saying, "Give me an old NXT type brawl to face Randy." Well, we're gonna get into all of that and more, but let's start at the end first. Let's talk about this Cody and Cena face-to-face that ended the show. Cody Rhodes standing tall after delivering one crossroads to John Cena, which I feel like you can't go back. I feel like you can't start protecting the crossroads now when it takes everybody else 3 to finish them. I don't think John Cena gets laid out by one, but both showing their teeth tonight. John Cena emphasizing that he's the last real champion. Picking on Cody Rhodes a little bit, saying that his response to The Rock was all that he needed to know that he could eventually just beat him after Elimination Chamber. A lot of still kind of blaming the crowd stuff. No explanation on him and The Rock. I'm hoping that comes into play at Mania. Maybe The Rock is starting a stable. Maybe, I don't know, whatever. But the fact that we are going into WrestleMania and there's never been clarity about why John Cena responded like an attack dog to The Rock is a very, very, very odd thing to me. But Cena had his teeth out for this. This was pretty all right. Like, he did a good job of turning the screws a little bit more. I just don't know if he's been around enough that I'm like bought in on the fact that these guys want to absolutely tear each other apart. I think there's a lot of pressure on this match to deliver. I'm hoping John Cena gives us the same experience that Brock Lesnar gave us when it was with him. Like when he did those Suplex City 18 in a row, a million F5s, just tore John Cena apart. My hope is that in that match, we get a sequence like that where he is just a machine tearing Cody down.
Sure.
Cody's end of this, he sounded a little more fired up. He sounded a little bit more aggressive. He referenced John Cena being butt naked at the ESPYs. He said, "You say that I'm what did he say? I'm underwhelming. You're overrated," which was some good stuff. He tore down the way he looked in almost a Ricky Starks like fashion. Just kind of went through his aesthetic about things. tore into to Cena, a kind of punctuation mark on the idea that he's buried talent his whole career and that he wasn't the people's choice, right? He was just the choice that was dictated to being the guy. And that came the Sting reference. Yeah, he called him extremely pale, basically, at one point. What was interesting about this was the crowd booed Cody a little bit here.
They did.
It was almost like John Cena's old reactions, right?
Yeah.
It was a little bit of a mixed bag. The crowd also booing the ladder match being not WrestleMania card when we're talking about the tag ladder match that we're going to get down the line next week. So the crowd reactions, man, if Triple H is saying just be fans, this is what your fans that are paying to go see your product are doing, right? So I thought it was a good segment. I thought it was a nice push toward the finish line. I just feel like there hasn't been enough meat on the bone for me to be like, yeah, these guys are going to beat the hell out of each other on night 2. I hope that the match delivers in that way. And the lack of clarity around the relationship between John Cena and The Rock has really been hanging over the story, Alex.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird that the only thing that we know about this whole Cena situation is that he's had that back and forth with The Rock before, right? So they've had histories. They've done the back-to-back WrestleManias. They're the last 2 standing titans of WWE, in my words, right? In my eyes, because you have one that came from the Attitude Era and one that came into the, like you said, the Ruthless Aggression. And for a time there, they were kind of, they were still together until The Rock decided to finally leave, right? And Cena always made fun of The Rock for that. But what you got here is the same situation now where, he's a little bit older, but Cena's now they've taken the same route that The Rock did with the movies and the TV shows and everything. So there's a lot of comparisons. So maybe we got to fill the gap in what's going on. But I do believe that, there's going to be something that's going to go down between The Rock and it. There has to be, right? And number 2, I would say that this match, and I was talking to you behind the scenes before, we just saw Rey get carted out of the arena. I come from the film background, so I know a lot of the stuff that he's working on, even stuff that they haven't even mentioned yet. But it's hard, like these contracts that he has with television, they have like stipulations in them. So I would hate to see him get hurt at Mania. So I hope that this match is like hard hitting, but not too crazy. And dude, if he wins, I don't know, man.
I don't think you get handpicked by The Rock to not win, right? And I think in your retirement tour, you can pretty much lay out at BetOnline that John Cena will be winning that match. But Norma saying, here's a small stack of monies to see some collabs. Cody getting booed was interesting. He's definitely losing. Double turn for Summerfest. It would be spicy.
A lot of stuff going on, man. A lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's I think the trajectory is that he finishes his career as a face. I'll say that. Somebody talks him back into it. He drops to someone who's a face, whether that's babyface Punk, whether that's Cody again, whatever that looks like. You have to do the marquee matches along the way. You have to do Cena versus Punk. You have to do Cena versus Orton. Like, those are required. I would hope he would work with some younger talent too, just to make some people in all of this.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's The Rock is conspicuous by his absence, whether that's going to be something they play off as strategic or whether it's just going to be bad. It's kind of yet to be seen.
Yeah.
It's kind of yet to be seen. But guys, get in your super chats and humper chats. I see Alex Pulowski loitering backstage.
Hey, what is he doing back there?
Jump on or not? Hello.
I'm just here to admonish you. You don't know SCUZA?
Wow,
everybody back in the day
bro.
was talking about SCUZA. We're like, oh, there's SCUZA.
Yeah.
There's old SCUZA.
I wasn't around.
We were all
SCUZing.
Oh, man, everyone was like, SCUZA, SCUZA, SCUZA. And everyone knew it was Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Everyone.
I know you weren't even born yet because you're only 24 years old. But everybody was being like, yay, SCUZA.
You put SC on anything. It wasn't South Carolina. It didn't mean anything. Everyone knew what was coming.
Yeah, Scuzza. You hear the glass shatter, you go, Scuzza.
Oh, yeah, immediately Scuzza.
Oh, man, yeah.
Scuzza hats, Scuzza
right.
underwear.
Looks like an association. This is great. Scuzza what? The SCSA.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Lord.
Right. It's the Stone Cold Society of America. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
It's a society for the preservation of rock formations in the north of our country that get cold during winter.
That's
and
beautiful.
sometimes like moisture will seep in and then freeze and then crack the rock formations, and we need to preserve them. So it's the Stone Cold Society of America.
I like this. I like where this is all going.
I actually thought you were gonna like tie it back in with the Rock somehow, but you were just talking about rocks.
I was talking about stones, but yes, yeah.
Stones, fair enough.
Mm-hmm. Yes, right.
Cold ones.
Yeah. Hey, how about the Cody got booed? It was like I literally was yelling into the camera, "We won!" It was yay!
I was like, is this circa AEW 2021-22? I'm like, what is happening right now?
You know what occurred to me was there are probably more casual fans at this event than there ever have been, and they might have just been seeing John Cena, right? And just like muscle memory of cheering John Cena. And it was interesting. It was interesting, but they were also full on booing that ladder match not being part of WrestleMania.
I mean, why wouldn't you? Yeah.
When with good cause, because I don't know if they know this in the home office, but there are 2 days of WrestleMania. And there's probably room for another major marquee match. Also, if you did a TLC match between those three teams with stakes involved in it, and was tables, ladders, and chairs also involved in the match, it would probably be like a top 2 or 3 match on the entire weekend for WWE. And that's probably the reason why they didn't do it, because they don't want that to overshadow all the terribly built nonsense we don't want.
Well, we have a long day tomorrow, you and me.
Yes, I'm gonna go away. Bye.
Well, before you do, plug our stuff. We've got Stand and Deliver tomorrow here on the main. That is actually the chat was saying, and I was saying, I'm kind of more excited for some of the things on the Stand and Deliver cards than
100%.
maybe 1 and 2.
It's the only thing that's got a shot on night 1 or night 2 of surpassing like what I expect out of it. Is Io, Rhea, and Bianca, mainly because they're PO'd because they should be in a main event slot and they know it.
Sure.
Last time that happened with Rhea, she put on one of the best matches I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
With Charlotte.
I expect that to actually be the top in-ring match for the WWE this weekend. But yeah, there's I'm super looking forward to the Obafemi Javon Evans Trick Williams match. I think those guys are really going to show out. And there's great stuff on that card that should be a lot of fun. Also super tight. Like usually they don't let those things go crazy segments. There's not as many like not as much Wheatley's. That's not nearly as much Wheatley's on an NXT show as there is on the main shows. So I'm looking forward to that the most. But you could be standing. I will be sitting because I know I have to
be delivering.
I'll be delivering. It's one of those deals where we'll see. Maybe you want to place an order for pickup because you don't want to wait around for the delivery guy to come to your house. He's going to get lost in the apartment building. He doesn't know exactly which floor he's supposed to be on. Probably is easier to do pickup, but I'll be sitting and conserving strength for the rest of the weekend because we have 2 Mania nights to do. And as evidenced by earlier Mania reviews that you and I do, it's usually a total of about 7 hours over 2 nights that we talk. So I will need to conserve strength. Hopefully there'll be nobody who will remain nameless undressing in front of you during the show.
We can only pray.
We can only hope and pray. So yeah, that'll be an improvement over a couple of years ago.
Was it me? I wasn't here.
No, it was not you. No.
Okay.
No.
I only do that for Alex.
Fightful Select. That's not true. You're showing your clavicles all the time
You're right.
around here, but
Damn it.
Alex and I will be hanging out all weekend. We've got our Stand and Deliver post show tomorrow, nights 1 and 2 of WrestleMania this weekend, and then right back into it. We have the Raw after Mania on FightfulSelect.com, NXT on the main. We're right back at it next week. So, Alex, thanks for stopping by. I'll do better to learn about Skaza.
I mean, come on, just
Do better, Kate.
put some respect on Skaza's initials.
Yeah, this is America.
I will, and I'll fundraise for the
Good.
SCSA. So
That's right.
there you
Those,
go.
those rock formations in the north, they need you now more than ever.
It's true. It's true. Well, let's get back to it on SmackDown, guys. Get in your super chats, get in your humper chats. Sean told you about what's going on in Fightful Select. I asked him if there was anything specific he wanted to tease, and you know what he said to me?
Mhm.
The scoops will speak for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's how locked and loaded Sean Ross Sapp is for this weekend. But I'll tell you who was locked and loaded, and that was Seth Rollins kicking off the promo, or kicking off the show with this promo. He has been, to me, like the string tying this whole thing together, because CM Punk and Reigns never had a face-to-face the entire build, and Seth Rollins kind of stepping back and playing this like puppet master role, and these teases with Paul Heyman are really, really interesting to me. Paul Heyman leaving with Seth Rollins is a prop bet on BetOnline, and most people think he's leaving with Seth Rollins. I've also seen that all over social media. It's interesting.
That's crazy.
It's interesting, but Seth comes to the ring kind of looking like a final boss with this. I liked that. And he gives a really strong promo with this. He kind of starts in, and then CM Punk chants ring out, and he just kind of leans right into it, which I thought was good. He talks about Punk's motivations of, did he really want to come back here? Because when he came back, it was to somewhere else. Like it wasn't to this place. Or did he just come back for a big paycheck, which I thought was a good thing for him to weave into this if he's trying to make people's intentions seem a little impure here. And then the crowd got right behind it with a big fat check chant, which I thought was pretty funny. The crowd was all over the place today.
Crowd was everywhere.
And Seth really dug into his legacy, calling him a liar, calling him a coward, saying he abandoned the business, the took your ball and went home line. And then he talks about Roman Reigns and their relationship. And he says, at least that guy owns up to being self-serving, which I thought was kind of nice. But he takes us back to 12 years ago and Paul Heyman bringing the Shield into WWE to protect Punk. And Seth says that they were just constantly sacrificing for those 12 years, basically. This was good. It was layered. He also says that he's going to win, and that's not a prediction. It's a spoiler, kind of in Paul Heyman terms. But what he said tonight was what I was kind of hoping there would be from the build. And I thought we would get that intensity between him and Roman Reigns. Like the complexity of their relationship is kind of the thing that I was looking most forward to. And it feels like it's the thing that we got the least juice out of, but we will see what comes of this triple threats. Who do you think Paul Heyman is leaving with? And what did you think of this promo?
It would be fun to see that whole dynamic where he leaves maybe with a Seth Rollins, but that would be messy because he's been so steady and close to Roman. They broke up, they came back, so I would like that for the entertainment factor. But
sure.
But outside of that, I do think that, his allegiance will stay with Roman, and perhaps there'll be some things that will happen that'll question his allegiance to Roman and then question his love for Punk, right? So
Sure.
you'll have that dynamic on the outside of the ring. But ultimately, I do have to think that, Roman takes this, like
You're
it's
going
going
with
to
Roman. Okay.
I think it's going to be messy. I think it's going to be messy. I think it's going to be, you'll probably get, a lot of therapy and divorce court with with Paul Heyman and the
wrestlers court. We're going to divorce court.
Yeah.
I like it.
It'll
I
be
like it.
it'll be a cool dynamic. We mentioned about matches that we were looking forward to. And honestly, like this one just has a cool dynamic to it that I wouldn't mind really paying attention to when I have it on.
Yeah, I agree. The stakes being out of this kind of isn't the best for me. I just wish it wasn't main eventing. Like it doesn't feel
Yeah.
like a main event because nothing's on the line, but I am
Right.
looking forward to these three because to me they're three of the very, very best. Like I'm a huge Seth Rollins fan. I'm a huge CM Punk fan in the ring. This babyface run hasn't been for me with some of the promos and stuff, but in ring, he's one of my favorite storytellers in the whole wide world. And Reigns is great when he is in a match that challenges the formula of what he normally does. And I think this match,
128 years of experience in the ring in just that match, by the way. So
there you go. Look at you. The math is mathing. It's
I
not
might be
Steiner
that
math.
might be wrestlers math. So excuse me as well. I
Sure,
know
you got some Steiner math going on.
one of them's
Did
in
you
the
see
40s and almost 50. So
Did you see Braun Breaker do his Steiner math thing for the IC title promo? I was in stitches at that. I thought it was
Sometimes
so
you just
great.
gotta lean into it, man. You can't, you know how many people probably been waiting for that?
Voice sounds so much like him. It freaks me out a little bit.
Yeah, he
Like
does not
his
sound like
voice
his
sounds
own
just
dad.
like it.
Yeah.
Like between his dad and his uncle, he moves like one and talks like the other.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's wild. But guys, get in your super chats and humper chats. We're talking Mania, baby. And we're talking
Mania.
this SmackDown, which kind of left a
Wrestling.
lot to be desired, honestly. There were 2 DQ finishes in the show.
Yeah. We
There
can
was
just
a revolving door promo, but it's
Yeah.
Mania. There's always stuff to be excited for on Mania weekend. But one thing that I really loved on this show was Randy Orton's open challenge promo.
Yeah.
And the thing, more than anything that he said, he was just hyped. Like, he sounds like he's having so much fun. He brought so much energy to this. He mentioned that his dad was on the first WrestleMania ever, which I thought was like a really nice touch. And then
That was
talked
really
about how he's
cool.
been at so many consecutive ones. And I really liked how he just was like, I'm showing up. All right. I've been walking around Vegas with my wife and my family and having a great time. And you guys have been asking me who I'm going to face. And I don't have an answer for you yet.
Mhm.
But I really, really liked how just fired up he was. It feels like something that was kind of missing from this was just like general super excitement about what's going down. I really, 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 really liked what Randy Orton brought to the table tonight. Who do you think it ends up being? Do you think that that they switched gears and it's going to be Rusev? Do you think it'll be Solo Sikoa, Nick Aldis? What are we thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll have to go and be a mark in this one and kind of probably see myself thinking that it is going to be we're going to celebrate Rusev Day. That's as far as I'll go with it. I mean, we mentioned this, like who comes off as the loser here? Like, your big comeback, and then you're just gonna, maybe does he get one over Randy? And Randy's like, okay, like laughing at it, and they just kind of like bro hug it out, like welcome back. Is it that type of WrestleMania moment where like he's holding his hand, that's the point, Rusev back, or or does
Well,
and then
like,
RKO's him for like welcoming back, like there's so much to go there. Like the moment's gonna be big, obviously, right? So
sure. And it's also like what version of Rusev is coming back? You know what I mean? Is it silly Rusev Day Rusev? Is it
he's definitely
the guy
coming back
who
in a
was
tank.
That would be funny if he answered the open challenge
In a tank, yeah.
But like he definitely has a personality. He's super funny with those types of things, but he's also been a machine in AEW. He was presented as the Bulgarian Brute. So it's kind of depends on what direction they want to go with him. I don't want Orton to lose and I don't want Rusev to lose. So I don't think that's a great idea. I understand why people would be excited for it.
Yeah.
But I think maybe Rusev in a Raw after Mania situation is the way to go. But Ryan Cicchini said that it should be someone from NXT. Give me an old an old NXT type brawl to face Randy. Okay, I see what you're saying. I don't know who they would want to shoehorn in. I'll put it that way. I would love for it to be someone from NXT. I would love for it to be Carmelo Hayes. I would love for it to be be a youngin'. I think it would be a productive use of Randy's time, and it would also allow Randy to just win and stay babyface.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see if it's Nick Aldis, though. We will see. But
That's another one.
Brian
Yeah.
Ben says, so wildest picks from the hosts to face RKO on Mania. Let's go wild. Let's go wild. Who do you think?
Oh man. Do you want to really go out there like that?
Yeah, go wild. Is that where
Shoot.
Stone Cold comes back?
Damn, that would be awesome. If Scar
Jack
would come down
Swagger.
the freaking aisle, you know?
I'm saying Jack Swagger. That's my wild.
Whoa, no. Let's. I mean,
Jack Swagger's coming back.
I was gonna make a comment. I'm not even gonna go there. It was gonna be bad. And
Did
friends,
you see Butterbean versus Suzuki? It's Butterbean. He's coming back.
I love you all. I cannot say that here. Yeah, but it's just I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I've been a little bit disconnected from this year's WrestleMania. So to kind of see like poor Orton having to have an open challenge and not have a cool ass segue into it with matches and a storyline that he's gonna have to crush
I was so
someone.
excited for him and KO. I'm so heartbroken.
Right. Yeah. It could be KO. We can be kayfabe. Not just kidding. Can you imagine a pop? Oh my God.
My heart is too broken.
It could be Eddie Kingston. Who knows? Yeah, that's my pick. Eddie Kingston will show up. They licensed DMX for him, and he's gonna come out, and the crowd's gonna go ape crap.
Vicky says she wants Nick Aldis. He's a married man, Vicky. He's married to Mickey James.
How
Chad is saying Ricky Saints. Sami Zayn is one that I thought of as well. Tanahashi is a fun shout. Yeah. Tana, the president of New Japan, coming on over. Guys, keep getting in those super chats and humper chats. We're having fun tonight. We got WrestleMania tomorrow and Sunday. Here's what you got, by the way. You've got me and Alex Pulowski doing the Stand and Deliver post show. And here on the main, you got Sean Ross Sapp for nights 1 and 2 of WrestleMania, joined by Jeff Hawkins. Great guy. Tons of fun. Jeff
Hawkins, yes.
Gonna be a good one. And then for Raw after Mania, you're gonna see Andrew Baydala come in and try to keep Sean awake after a very, very long weekend. But Baydala is great. We love him around here. I will also be on Fightful Select with Alex Pulowski all of those nights. So we've got a lot going on for you. SRS versus Randy. The RKO versus the drop toe hold, man.
And you got me on Blue Sky just being a menace.
A menace.
A menace.
A Dennis the Menace. That's
starting problems and not solving them.
That's my whole existence, man.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Not yours, but mine too. Sorry. I didn't mean to like. Did you hear what Alex said about Kate? Live on the air.
Problems. We're problems.
We get clipped.
Let's talk about this Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal that is won by Carmelo Hayes, which was kind of nice to see.
Yeah.
Some highlights from it, because as far as battle royals go, this was fine. But you have The Miz almost getting tossed by Karrion Kross, but Carmelo saving him, and Miz later kicking R-Truth off the apron. So some Tag Alliance allegiances getting cemented there. I don't want to see The Miz with Carmelo Hayes. You have Phoenix eliminating Berto and Angel, and Santos Escobar trying to align with Phoenix two times, but he gets tossed. The Creed brothers and Otis all went out together. Otis eliminated Tozawa and then himself while taking out both of the Creeds. And you have Andrade eliminating Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, and Chad Gable getting overwhelmed by the group of luchadors with all that nonsense. But some good stuff. It was nice that the final four came down to Carmelo, Andrade, Phoenix, and Shinsuke. I thought that was a good final four. For Nick Khan to say talent aren't benched, and then you don't know where Shinsuke's been, and Andrade has been wherever the hell Andrade's been.
Tell him, Kate.
Man, it was just a blind comment. And as someone who was a publicist and did media strategy for well over a decade, you don't take shots at companies that are also true about you. And that was just extremely.
You just don't do it. Like you're the top. You're the cream of the top, right? You're the creme of la creme. Why do you need to punch down? Like it just makes no effing sense, right? That's number one. Number two is just like, where the hell are the other 230 wrestlers you house, bro? And I put this over on Twitter and on the Blue Sky because I was just like, how are you gonna put this out there and you only showcase 30 wrestlers a month? I don't see. I'm sorry, maybe 10 wrestlers a month because there's some that get spoken about, some that come out every other month. So where's the other 250 wrestlers that you house? Because I don't watch any other show besides SmackDown and Raw, which means, are they in NXT? Are they in LFG? Are they in MLW? Whatever else you own out there, NID? Like, tell me.
It's wild because.
Sorry, I just
no, it's
I
okay.
Have ranted like that.
No, please. It's just funny because I think AEW did have a talent rotation problem, and now I think it's a lot better than WWE's. NXT's talent rotation is actually always really good.
Let me tell you something. AEW's talent rotation in the beginning was great because they made it a point to say, we're going to use you. We're going to give you time off to heal, get yourself back together, go work out, and then you come back for more. Then they effed that all up. And we spoke about that. Like they messed that all up. People just disappeared.
People, I think, forget that when they expanded to Rampage and Collision, what that does, it changes your rhythm of everything.
Yeah.
And it got bad, but then they overloaded and now they're finding their rhythm again. They're doing better with it. WWE has like their top guys that monopolize a ton of the time. And then you have Carmelo Hayes teaming with The Miz. But Fans Twin Blade saying, I get to have any match for Randy. Don't threaten me with a good time, Kate. Randy versus Minoru Suzuki, no DQ match. You're so funny. You're so funny.
To go back to that too, I saw Ace Shock say Orton versus Freddie Prinze. That would be Orton versus Freddie Prinze Part 2. All right, because when Freddie Prinze was a guest host, injured Freddie Prinze Jr. Injured Freddie Prinze Jr. I just want to say that. Okay, maybe it was Freddie's fault for not taking the backbreaker the way he was supposed to, but he did injure my Freddie Prinze Jr. So, boom.
Are you going to answer Randy Orton's open challenge on behalf of your friend? That's what we need.
I will tell you what. I will gladly show up with a FPJ shirt on. Okay. Dang. Boom, full on face Freddie Prinze Jr. And then I will tear it, and I will show off my calves, which will have FPJ tattooed on them. Okay. You
claim him calves.
Guys,
get in your super chats, get in your humper chats. We're working through this episode of SmackDown. Plenty to talk about here. We get, what should we talk about next? Let's talk about Zelina and Chelsea. Zelina beats Chelsea in 3.5 minutes. That's nonsense. That's just nonsense. 3.5 minutes for that match?
Yeah.
It's nonsense. After the way it's gotten screwed up, that's nonsense. After Chelsea Green is not booked for WrestleMania as of today, that's nonsense. And I'll say it again. I find it silly. I find it silly.
First of all, I'm calling the FCC because you keep on dropping this S word frequently here on Friday nights. I'm a little scared and ashamed that they might come after me. Current administration that is in the Oval Office does not appreciate that word being thrown around the way you do as well. So I don't want to be associated with this right now.
Zelina wins with the code red. This whole the women's mid-card titles have been a mess since they've rolled them out. Unfortunately, I love Chelsea Green, and I think Lyra Valkyria is one of my really, really, really growing into an incredible worker so far. The fact that she's tagging with Bayley instead of defending her title at Mania sucks. The fact that Chelsea Green's not defending her title at Mania sucks.
Maybe
the fact that she's nowhere on the card sucks. And now she gets 3.5 minutes on SmackDown to lose to Zelina Vega, who didn't earn title shots at all to get to this point. It sucks. Have people win and then earn title shots. Have people that have titles be on your 2-night WrestleMania with your 3-hour pre-show with no wrestling on it. It sucks. There you go. That was my rant.
I like that. I like when we go back to back ranting. It's a good way to release.
It's about drive. It's about power. We rant. We devour.
Wow. I wasn't going to go that far. You're in WrestleMania mode.
I am. It just does. Like I just think that Chelsea's been doing such outstanding work and she deserves to have
Kate, it's very simple, Kate. We're wrestling lovers here at Fightful.
We are.
And we critique what we watch. Wrestling is what subjective. Is that what you call it, right? So
yes.
you can kind of just like feel the way you feel, and that's it. I can't tell you how to feel, and you cannot tell me how to feel. But there's a difference here. Like you mentioned not too long ago that there's a difference in the pay-per-views, right? One of them has like match after match after match after match. Mind you, they don't have a lot of stories going into it, right? Yeah. Stories going into it. A lot of the stories are being told in the ring. But with WrestleMania, you have 2 nights. You have 16 matches. How do you not? What do you have planned? I know you have to have commercial time because of Peacock and Netflix. I know you got to add the
8 matches a night is a lot.
Celebrity Row. I know you got to add, performances.
I'm
ring
good
times
with 8 matches a night.
But I'm
good with 8 matches.
No, I know that. But what I'm saying is, how can we not squeeze her into this?
Yes, certainly.
That's where I was going. And first and second of all, and I'll shut my mouth, is you have the United States Championship, which that United States Championship for the men has been defended in many amazing ways, including ladder matches, all kinds of things. You could have had an amazing women's ladder match for that freaking title and put on right?
Yep. I agree. Actually, Hitchcock is saying $5 for Kate to say the S word again.
Don't do it, Kate.
Silly.
Oh my freaking God. My God, I'm ashamed. What has
Justice for Chelsea. That's where I'm at. Justice for Chelsea. Hey, I'll tell you what I did like. I liked this backstage with Damian Priest, who tells Drew that he's been acting like a victim. And he says, "You're not a victim yet. You're going to wish you were future endeavored again." That I give you. That is my sleeper pick. I know Sean's been very high on the possibilities of that match. Those two, with how physically large they are, with a street brawl stipulation, and I think motivated to prove a point. I think those two might have like the sleeper pick match of their night of WrestleMania.
I think we both said that. Yeah, I think we both agree that might be the one that we were looking forward to. Like to kind of see. It has undertones to it, and it'll come out great. And I do hope they use real glass whenever they get to that spot.
Hell yeah.
And I want Drew to kind of make a comment about it, like
just like break the fourth wall and look into the camera.
It's real glass. Ass.
Well, we are talking all about WrestleMania, and you can watch it on Peacock. If you're watching internationally, you can watch it on Netflix. But if you're watching with NordVPN, you can watch from wherever the world you want on your preferred platform. And we're going to have Sean Ross Sapp tell you all about it.
If you're a wrestling fan and you're frustrated with all the services you need to watch all the different wrestling shows, Fightful has your solution with nordvpn.com/Fightful. Change your virtual location with just one click, and you'll be able to watch Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and PLEs on one Netflix account. You'll also be able to get a lot of pay-per-views at a much more affordable price than you do here in the United States. This is a must-have for wrestling fans. That way you don't have to have 7 different accounts to watch all of the shows that you want to watch. In addition to that, they have a great 30-day money-back guarantee and an incredible deal right now going on. But that's far from it. You can protect yourself on their VPN service, the fastest in the world. Shield your data from snoops and criminals. Protect yourselves on public Wi-Fi, and it's available on all your devices and operating systems. NordVPN.com/Fightful.
We are silly.
Oh, but
Yes, I
you
think
are.
continue.
I can't believe you continue.
Shall we start a silly chant for Alexis?
Wow, you guys are really doing this to me tonight, huh? You know, it'd be silly. Oh, I said it. Damn it. I was looking for the censor button and I don't know where it's at. So yeah, there it is.
So there you go.
I'm
There
a-
you go.
Look,
The chat's
dummy.
on board.
I'm a dummy. Guys, easy. I'm texting Sean. Give me a second.
Kate needs to be future endeavored. Yeah, right. Not this weekend. This is the
Wow.
weekend where I'm like, I'm going to earn my pay this weekend. Guys, let's keep rocking and rolling. We've got plenty to talk about as we work through the rest of this SmackDown. Some good stuff here. We got another spooky vignette. So it feels like Aleister Black is on the way. It doesn't seem like he'll be that open challenge opponent because they have been pushing this very specific date for him to show up. I don't think you can suddenly swerve that. But let's talk about the match where it seemed like Rey Mysterio is probably injured. Looked rough. We get Rey Fenix and Lee and Rey. I'm sorry. What am I saying?
Where you at?
Where am I at?
Where you at, Kate?
American Made and Rey pulling up. So we
the
got our
LWOs.
6-man. Excuse me. We got Dragon Lee. There's so many Lees and Rays and so much going on here. Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, and Rey Fenix versus American Made, Chad Gable and the Creed brothers. Between the way that it was segmented from Luis confused me because I can't.
Wow,
read,
did you just throw Luis under the bus?
I did.
Wow.
I did.
That's silly.
No, he actually because he knows lucha wrestling and respects actual names of things. He was trying to separate the Rays from me, and I just misread it because it's dyslexia. But this was unfortunate because this match was actually really cooking. Like these guys in ring wise is something that was really, really cooking, and it feels like Rey pulled away getting injured here. But you got the good guys beating the bad guys, which wrestling math would tell you that American Made would get the win there. But now I don't know what we do. I don't know what we do. Louis said, "Hey, man, I'm sorry. You don't need to apologize. You don't need to apologize. I should have my eyes on my own notes." This match was really fun. The Hurricane Ranas in this were outstanding. Like the Hurricane Rana that set up the dive over the top rope, I thought was so fantastic with Lee. And Brutus just being such a different flavor than everything else in this match. And Julius Creed, of course, being an athletic freak. This was all really, really fun. That Brutus ball combo was always great. And Phoenix has to break up that pin. But there was a really fun ending sequence with this, with the Tiger Feint wheel kick, a double springboard arm drag, and a top rope Meteora for the win. That was a nice way to end this, but unfortunately, looks like Rey might have gotten injured in this. I have not been a fan of El Grande Americano. I think it's bad. I think there's way better things you can be doing with Chad Gable. But I don't have complaints about the in-ring because these guys work extremely well together. It's so nice to see Dragon Lee getting regular reps. I'm just so bummed for Rey Mysterio. He's literally a Hall of Famer already and such a legend and can still put on great matches. And to get injured on a go-home show to Mania is just a heartbreaker. Just a heartbreaker. So assuming it's something that's going to sideline him, that's a tough one, but just our well wishes at Fightful here to him. We hope he gets better soon. That's a toughie, but what did you think of this match? And are you a little heartbroken with Rey being out?
It just sucks, man. Because to me, he's always that young, crazy Rey Mysterio Jr. There's your memory is tricky, right? As human beings, we remember people as like what we want to just picture them as. So to kind of see this, later on in his career, this is bad because when you get hurt at this stage in your life, it just takes longer, and things just take they nag or they get worse. So it just sucks to have to see him go specifically right before Mania. I mean, literally we're a couple hours away before the show
Yeah.
going on the air, and hopefully it was. I mean, it looks serious, but hopefully it's not. You know.
Yeah.
Um,
Hoping for the best case scenario and those
yeah.
kinds of things. Always.
And I made a little funny joke on the interwebs about seeing my fellow Latinos together and putting them up against a team called American Made, like in today's
course.
world. I was like, well, how apropos, like, but whatever.
Well, with the comments this week, it certainly is.
Oh my goodness, yeah,
a very specific lens that I think.
I just want to say
angle
this.
is getting viewed through.
I want to say this, Kate. I want to say this, and I'll put it in two different ways, and then I'll shut up again. When it comes to stuff like this, I'm okay with it, right? Like, I'm not okay with it, but I'm okay with it because I also watch television. I also watch films, and in those films, they create a world, and it's all fake, right? We know this. So things happen. So I sometimes have to suspend disbelief and do the same for professional wrestling because I kind of, for some reason, hold professional wrestling at a higher echelon than I do films and television, right?
Sure.
And so I have to pull back sometimes. And then the second part of this would go to the fans. And I don't mean you guys that are here. I mean, I get attacked daily on my DMs. I just don't put it out there, and I don't give it any play, right? I don't sell. Basically in wrestling terms, but a lot of them are like, there's a lot of hatred comments. Like you got to understand, like in wrestling, it's just open, right? It's like you don't hate people for doing movies. You don't hate people for switching brands or switching baseball teams or switching basketball teams, right? Like, why is it that whenever like you see people jump ship or questions or whatever, or even certain storylines or people get benched or stuff like that, like, man, like, drop that. Let's all be chill. This is wrestling. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
So to that, I say, yes, it looked bad that we have the American Maids versus the LWOs,
Sure.
but at the end of the day, it's entertainment, so
Yeah.
long-winded, but it's just, I think a lot of people sometimes forget what we're watching.
Your perspective is much more valid than mine.
But Chad Gable, by all means, stop that. Stop the Gulf of America.
I love that you were
thing.
like, it's not that serious, but also knock it off.
Yeah, knock it off. Like, I'm gonna be a little bit serious for you guys.
You were like, no need to get so heated, but also
yeah. I have to have a little bit of heat, just to throw it in there.
There it is.
I'm Puerto Rican, it happens.
Norma saying we need a claps emoji. Luis, get on it, bro. Whoa,
I would love for some.
That's in the moderating responsibilities. I'm just glad that he's working.
I need to get some, like, I need to get some clav tattoos and just sell them, like, and the
clav twos.
Yeah, clav twos, like whatever you want. You want Kate's name on your clavs? We'll sell them. Who cares? 10% goes to.
I'm getting a percentage.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like 30% goes to Kate, 10% goes to charities, and the rest goes to continue making more tattoos.
That's what's up. Luis hates this El Grande Americano thing. He finds it extremely insulting, and I get it.
It is. Stop it.
He also is a very sincere watcher of Lucha Libre, so I understand that the point is that he's mocking it so that he will get his comeuppance, but it also kind of sucks. So
it does suck, yeah. Dumb.
Well, let me tell you what, I'm very excited for the match of Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair. I don't think this promo hit the nail on the head as far as making me more excited, giving it that push as a go-home segment, because it was an elevator promo, right? It was a revolving door promo. That was two metaphors, but it's an elevator one, and that we got off at several floors, and it's a revolving door, and that people just kept coming out before anybody could say anything except for Rhea. Rhea opens the segment, and she's talking about that this is her 6th WrestleMania, each one a title match, which that's pretty cool. What do you think about that? That she's exclusively been in title matches for her WrestleMania time. That's pretty rad. I'm glad that she pointed that out. And she says, I lost my title before Mania. That's my bad. She says that she lost her focus and that she's done talking about the past. I wish this was the direction they went for her the entire time. I wish the more sincere one instead of the whiny griping. That was not who Rhea Ripley is. I love when we got her more vulnerable side with stuff about how Io has always gotten the best of her and stuff like that. I wish we got more than that, but Io Sky enters And before she can even get a word in, we get Bianca getting booed in this. And I saw a lot of people say, why is Bianca getting booed in this? Other than racism, I think there is a possibility here that we waited months to see Rhea finally beat Liv, and we had a very short period of time where Liv was champion, and they've pinpointed in the story that the reason why is because of Bianca Belair. And I think people just really wanted to cheer Rhea Ripley longer after waiting so long for her to get the title back. And if in the story you're going to say it's Bianca Belair's fault, I think people just want to root for Rhea. I think people just want to cheer her, and they feel like they got shortchanged on that. So Bianca just kind of being the fall person for that is tough. I think people just love Rhea, and I want to see her be the one to win this. I don't think there's anything too much beyond those two things that I might have said. I also would love to see a heel Bianca run. I think she's fantastic. I know that Sean has said that if that's going to be happening, she wants to be extremely intentional about it because she has been so over as a babyface. So it's got to have the same impact that something like Naomi had, right? And speaking of Naomi, this I kind of liked. I like that she interrupts and says, "Where have you been? Welcome back to SmackDown. You haven't returned my calls, and I know you've got them because they said delivered." And then, of course, Jade comes in and vows to kind of finish what she started. And you have all of this breaking down, as one would expect. You got a moonsault onto the pile from Io, which was fun. You have her taking out everyone, but here's what I haven't liked. I haven't liked that Io Sky feels like a shoehorned third wheel in her own story. They've done an all right job of making that a big part of the story, but I don't like that that's sincerely true. And it feels weird that Bianca was just completely disconnected from what was going on with Jade and Naomi, and then now it's suddenly back. Like they should have been having those stories be a little more parallel than they've been. I don't like revolving door promos, but I get it. I thought Io taking everybody out was super fun. But I just felt like nobody got to say anything because they all kept getting interrupted.
Yeah. It was I think it was just a way to get everyone involved, you know?
It was a go home segment for sure.
Yeah. It's just like, hey, let's make sure everyone gets their Cummins,
Sure.
That was it.
That's fair. Everybody got to show up. Everybody got their pops.
Sure.
We're ready for Mania.
It's a 3-hour show. Get them in.
That's it. Ricardo saying Chelsea is a top 5-star booker like it. 3 minutes on WrestleMania weekend is nonsense. And the fact that those 3.5 minutes, were a loss on SmackDown sucks. I hope they give her something to do tomorrow. She should be hosting. There's no excuse. There just isn't. And Black Yakuza is saying, I will go to war for Cody Rhodes, to be honest. There's a lot of people that feel that way. I hope that the match lives up to the hype because the Cena heel turn, he just hasn't been around a ton for. So I hope that match gives us what we need. Cody's a phenomenal in-ring babyface. Like sometimes his promo style isn't always for me, but in ring, I really like the way he tells stories. I really do. So hopefully they get out there and they kick ass. Looking forward to that.
Agreed. Just let them go out there. Do what they do best.
We got boos tonight for the way that the tag team championship picture was booked. This is another match that absolutely should be on the WrestleMania card. This tag team division is so much stronger than the Raw tag team division. The Raw tag titles have not been defended on a PLE since last year's Mania. Woof.
Jesus Christ.
Woof. Now the SmackDown side has been better. Like it's been a rotation of the same teams, but they've been represented. They've gotten time on SmackDown. We've talked about that a lot. But we have the Street Profits defending against the Motor City Machine Guns. I actually really think, I know we joke around a lot with the Motor City Machine Guns, but I thought they actually had very good chemistry tonight. Like this was probably one of their better matches since they've been back. I liked what they had going, but It ends in a no contest because DIY comes down. They cause the DQ. They take the titles with them, and we get the announcement of a TLC match next week. The crowd booed that this was not going to be on the WrestleMania card, and I think they should have, and I'm glad they did. Unfortunately, nobody's allowed to pivot. Triple H, in his defense, did clarify the comments that if the majority feels a certain way about it, you should pivot. And I think that was from a lot of people pointing out, hey, remember that time Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble and you tried to take that away from him and then you had to dramatically pivot both main events of last year?
Yeah.
So I hope that I find it so weird that they have these very, 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 very long pre-shows with no matches on it.
Super long pre-shows.
3 hours a day or whatever. It's nonsense. But I would hope that they would listen. I don't think they will with this would be a lot to turn around in a very short time. So I don't think that they will. But I'm glad that the crowd stood up for tag wrestling because someone's got to, man. They that's not fair to the people in that division. So what did you think of the match? I'm looking forward to what it set up, but a go home show with 2 DQs on it doesn't do a lot for me. Honest.
Same. I really, it's hard to get behind some of these matches, man. We've been saying it since like probably once the new year came around, January. Like, oh, what would be the build up? February came around, March. We're like, wait a second. The card seems empty. There's just things being thrown together. So for me, I'm like, there's like no real connection. I'm just like, okay, cool, whatever happens, happens. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that answer, guys, but it's just like, that's where I'm at. You know?
Agreed. It's
and plus we're getting these DQs like in it just doesn't move the needle. I hate when that happens because WrestleMania is such a big event that everything should be 10 times, every match should be 10 times bigger, every build up 10 times bigger. When it gets when it gets kind of like watered down or whatever, it's just, I don't know, man. This is
so I understand that WWE is not as much of a sports based product. They have flat out said that, but I will say, wrestling being the vehicle at least to drive some stuff instead of this much yapping would be very helpful.
Yes,
and what I mean by that is, you can tell the same story you've been telling with Jey Uso and Gunther. But as Jey Uso is starting to pick up momentum and start to believe in himself more, if he was beating people in matches along the way, that would do something.
Yes.
That would make him feel like more of a threat because he was beating people. So I'm not saying everything has to be a 45-minute classic. Correct. I'm not saying do what AEW does because I like when there's a variety of presentations in wrestling.
Agreed.
The same way that I like a variety of different genres of music and of movies and of television. So, but you have to, I think, do a better job than they've did so far with this. Than they've done so far with this. This was, I can't even say so far. We're at the end of the line here.
We really are. Yeah, there is no more.
Today, yeah. Well, I did a bad job reviewing the show because now we're going to end on my least favorite thing, and I don't want to end on a sour note. So I will end on a more positive note, but we'll talk about this last stuff here. This LA Knight and Strowman defeating Solo Sikoa and Fatu thing, and the way that we got there is, I'm going to say the S word again. It was silly. We get a great backstage from LA Knight, who's walking with intent, and he is late, bro.
Yeah, I'm on a 10-second delay.
You are. You got to anticipate my silliness.
Oh God.
Closer. We're getting better. But he's in the ring, and I like what we get here. We get him addressing the ambush from last week by Fatu, saying it inspired him, and he's not here to get jumped anymore. He returns the fire by taking out Tama Tonga earlier in the night, and we have Solo Sikoa. It's his turn And if he beats Solo, he gets Fatu one-on-one at Mania here. But Knight puts over Fatu as a future champ and promises that Fatu is going to get dropped with the BFT tonight by the megastar. LA Knight's great. Like, he's great at this. He's still super over. I love Shinsuke Nakamura so much and have an incredible amount of respect for everything he's done in WWE and before that in New Japan with Chaos and everything. But putting the title back on LA Knight, I think, was the right call based on what we were seeing in the ring.
Yeah.
And I think Fatu escapes with the win. I'm looking forward to that. But Solo Sikoa interrupts this. They start brawling on the ramp. Solo slamming Knight before they head to break, and we start that match. But Jacob Fatu interferes, causing the DQ, and then we just turn that into this tag match. I don't like that kind of booking. That's not for me. Like, oh, we're just gonna throw together Knight and Strowman defeating Solo Sikoa and Fatu. Wrestling Matt tells you that Fatu is gonna get the win, and I think he should. But just it's so corny to me. Of like, this person came down, so now they're a part of the match. Like, that's not for me at all. I'm very much looking forward to Jacob Fatu having some gold on him, likely after Mania, though. That guy is monster star. He's going to be a big time main eventer for them for a long time to come with Jacob Fatu. So I'm excited that it seems to be heading in that direction. I just didn't really like what we got to push this tonight. What did you think of all of those shenanigans?
Again, go homie.
Very go homie. Yeah, it was.
Very go homie. Again, for the type of event that we're having, and I say this again, and I'll end it here. It's unfortunate because it's this whole like 2-night event deal. When it's one night, you put these matches and there's a lot of build, a lot of like anticipation, a lot of crafting into what we're going to see and what we're going to get from the talent. And like this shouldn't be like this. This should be dude, like raw, you get real wolves to come down with him, like friggin' like crazy entrance, and then you get LA Knight, like I don't know, freaking coming down and Gavin Newsom from Los Angeles or something, like the senator from there, like like just make it big and make it a spectacle, right? And just have these two like go at it. But instead we got the monster among men, rawr, and everything else that's happening with Solo. Poor Solo now feels like an
Braun Strowman to Governor Newsom. Jeez.
The governor. There we go. Senator. I demoted him. Poor Solo feels like an afterthought now. He just he lost his group. This is nothing anymore.
Here's my theory. Solo Sikoa answers the open challenge of Randy Orton and loses.
Really?
And he doesn't like that. And then Jacob Fatu wins. And then we get Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa at each other because Solo Sikoa just can't seem to make headway, and he loses his mind that Jacob Fatu is now more successful than him. And Jacob Fatu realizes he doesn't need them. But let's go back to the Wolves, because I think the idea of bringing live Wolves to the ring is inspired. Anybody who watches me knows that I found out in the past year about Big Josh.
Yes.
And if you don't know who Big Josh is, I'll tell you what. Before there was Doink the Clown, there was Big Josh. He came to the ring with 2 bears in a WCW Battle Royal.
Real bears.
Real, extremely drugged bears. Yeah. I mean, so drugged. Incredibly drugged. Had a handler.
I mean, that's normal for wrestlers back in the day. But
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Well,
let's not make fun of that. But yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, like, honestly, like, don't even drug them. Like, you bring them out in cages and then you just let them go loose down the ramp.
You just want
what
a full-on
great freaking visual. I want wolves that are like Macedonian like they just came back. Did you hear about that? That they brought back wolves from prehistoric time? Like so they took the DNA, binded it with regular wolf DNA, and they brought them back to life, like Jurassic Park style. So I need these wolves that you could actually, I want him to ride the wolf down the ramp. I'm done.
Luis calling out Scott Steiner's entrance where he brought 2 tigers.
See? Yeah.
Wolves tigers,
Wolves, tigers, oh my.
and bears, oh my. We're completing the trifecta.
Ladies and
I'm here
gentlemen,
for that.
I tried having WWE hire me for this stuff, and I think they blocked me. I asked Freddie Prinze to look into it for me.
Imagine why. Alex,
Wolves.
that's the end of our go home SmackDown. Let's talk about Mania real quick. What are you most excited for?
Oh man, I honestly I need to know if Cena's gonna pull something out of his booty.
Okay.
Right? You know,
Okay.
I need to know, it's very close to the chest. Normally things leak out, things get told, people start talking, but this has been really
Fightful Select scoops things.
but this has been really close to the chest type of stuff, and it's cool to see what this is it. This is it. Like, I'm losing my childhood when I think Randy Orton's the last one,
Kind of.
who came in that late 2000, early 2000 crew, 2003. Like, I was still 19 years old back then. You know what I'm saying? Like watching wrestling. So this is it. I want to see what he has up his sleeve, and that's it. Obviously, everyone else is going to work very hard. I know that. But specifically, how are they going to handle Cody and Cena? Because this is very, very big, not only for Cena, but for someone who like Cody, who has been the top of the card. And how is life after that?
Yeah, I think
Right?
that's very fair.
How's life after that? And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I love my women wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Show claws and all. Let's go. But unfortunately, the women's matches have not had that big bravado behind it. The things that I want to see. But
I feel like Naomi and Jade is actually
they will.
Yeah,
We did say that they're gonna show off.
Yeah,
they're gonna show off.
I'm very excited for the in-ring actually of both of those women's matches. But you're right, the story has not kicked into gear the way that we were hoping.
And
but
it's why I mentioned. It's why I mentioned everyone's gonna do a great job on the show.
Yes,
but there's certain things that stick out. Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm looking forward to. Also looking forward to seeing.
I was just.
You were preemptively thinking
I
was
thought you were
going
to
to
say it. Oh, damn it.
I love it, guys. I would say I'm most looking forward to ring-wise, the women's triple threat. Story-wise, I'm probably with you on Cena and Cody, unless they do something really cool with the Heyman side of things. But
are you doing anything special? WrestleMania party, ordering some vegan pizza or anything?
I'm taking notes. So I can
I forgot I work.
I gotta work through it.
100,000 a year, Fightful salary for Kane.
Yeah. I wish that's where your Fightful Select dollars were going. Subscribe so that I can get that $650 deal from SRS.
Yeah.
I'll be working and probably, like you said, probably eating a Vega pizza. I'm looking forward to my carbs, and I'm looking forward to some wrestling. That'll be a fun way to spend my weekend. But guys, thanks for sticking with us. I know this episode was a little bit longer. We had Sean on in the beginning. I think the Hall of Fame is going on right now, so do check that out as well. That should be a fun one. But we will see you back here. It'll be Sean and Jeff Hawkins for WrestleMania. It'll be me and Alex Pulaski behind the paywall. But tomorrow we've got Stand and Deliver as well. I will be right back here on the main with Alex Pulaski, probably around 4:10. So that's what we will be doing. Those wrestlers are going to need some caffeine. They start early tomorrow. So
call time for NXT is 5 a.m.
Oh, get them some coffee.
You didn't hear that from me.
Follow Fightful Espanol on Twitter. Who am I to keep Luis from plugging his stuff? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Enjoy WrestleMania weekend. Whether you loved the build, hate the build, WrestleMania weekend is here. Enjoy it. Have a safe and wonderful wrestling weekend. We are out of here.